can confidently say that we have been managing moderate to severe and severe ARDS cases to the highest possible extent that we can, and successfully getting them cured and sending them back home. To further enlighten upon this coronavirus, may I have the permission to share my screen and share few slides? I won't be boring you, I promise, but just to give a brief description.
Please go ahead, sir.
So, am I visible?
Yes.
Yet again, as we all know that it is a coronavirus disease. It affected us, the entire world, in somewhere around December 2019 from Wuhan city of China, and it has been declared a pandemic since then, where almost all the countries of the world are now in its grasp. It is not at all a new virus. It has been there since almost way back from 2002, where first encounter was done by severe acute respiratory syndrome virus SARS-CoV. Then in 2012, we had Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome, MERS, by the name of MERS. We had that exposure in 2012, and then 2019, this again was mutated, and we are now facing the new pandemic with SARS-CoV-2. So basically, it is a RNA virus. There are two types of viruses. One is RNA. This is basically RNA virus, and it has the tendency, like any other living organism, to mutate itself, to change its form, and for its survival purposes. These are basically, we all know, are quite well acquainted with the symptoms and what are the signs that we should look forward to, and when to seek medical care. The biggest setback that we have had in the past 1.5 years is the fact that the patients who are coming to us, they are actually reaching us on a very late. The disease has already progressed to moderate level or moderate to severe level when they are outreaching the hospital services. The biggest misconception is that the patient still have till date they have is that as long as you are not feeling short of breath, you are not breathless, you don't have to worry about COVID, which is absolutely not right. Fever is most prominent symptom that one should look for. Tiredness, body ache, lethargy, not feeling like going to work, not eating well, vomiting, diarrhea, nausea. These are all initial signs and symptoms. By the time you will be having cough or breathlessness, your lower respiratory tract, your lower lungs will almost be infected, and that would be a little late to present to the hospital. So that is the most important thing that you have to keep in mind. As we already know, and we have been given the reminder time and again on every phone call that we make to our friends or relatives, we get to hear these things that you have got to wear a mask, you have to stay 6 feet from others, and hand sanitization. But yet again, we fail to do that, and still we are facing this brutal pandemic and the side effects of these. And we are on a daily basis, we are losing a lot of close ones, near and dear ones. Now, clearing up some misconceptions, I'll try to be as easy as I can. This COVID virus, it doesn't affect just the respiratory symptom. It affects almost all the entire systems of the body, including your brain, your heart, your muscles, your kidneys, your liver, skin, your dermatal skin, everything, psychiatry, everything. It has been affected, and it has been hampering with the entire system. The moment you get exposed to this virus, your immune system, your autoimmune system goes into hyperimmune drive. And that is the thing which actually causes the trouble. The virus in itself, being a normal living thing, it actually has a short lifespan of almost 12 to 14 days. The virus invariably will be not be viable after 12 to 14 days. But the autoimmune system that goes into hyperimmune drive, that causes the entire damage, because of which we tend to feel that the lungs are being damaged, the kidneys are being affected, the liver is being damaged, There is severe psychiatric implications. As of now, we are seeing patients are not able to cope up with the dilemma, to cope up with the trauma that this disease causes them to. Now coming to giving this brief description, I would like to say a few things about this latest mucormycosis or black fungus that we've been dealing with. It is basically a side effect or a after effect of the treatment that we have been giving, or the immune modification that the body goes into. What happens is, it is basically a life-threatening infection. It is has been always there in soil, plants, manure, and in our nature. But the moment your body immune system it diminishes, the body immune system goes down, it becomes more viable, more vulnerable to these secondary infections like mucormycosis, black fungus, white fungus, and etc. Yes, definitely it is a threat to life. It affects your sinuses, your brains, your lungs, and of course your eyes. And it erodes. It basically erodes your from your sinuses. It traverses its way to your orbit, your back to up all the way up to your brain. And once it reaches these vital organs, it is definitely life-threatening. Now, coming to the important warning signs. The important warning signs is that you have to take care of is there is pain and redness around your eyes or nose. There is severe headache, fever. You have coughing. You are shortness. There is shortness of breath. Some might have bloody discharge from eyes, nose, or vomiting also, and altered mental status. Some might even throw seizures if the patient has already patient's neurological system has already been affected, and definitely it then turns fatal. The most important thing that we have to take care of is we have to control your blood sugar levels. Hyperglycemia should be controlled. The patients who are diabetics, they are more prone to be exposed to such sort of secondary infections. Patients who are having kidney issues, patients who are having liver issues, who are having HIV, HbSAg positive, so they are a little more prone and more vulnerable to these secondary infections. Definitely, there has been some controversies where steroids are being blamed. Yes, it is an important factor where judicious use of steroids if judicious use of steroids is not being done, that may cause the bottom line is that immune system of the body, it has to be kept in check. These are the guidelines that has been issued by All India Institute of Medical Sciences. And again, the most important feature that one should look for is headache or nasal obstruction, nasal crusting, nasal discharge, which might be bloody or brownish, pain and loss of sensation on the face, hemifacial, half-sided pain, half-sided headache, half-sided loss of sensation on your face, discoloration of your skin, facial puffiness, ulceration of the palate, blackening of the palate, of the gums. There are sometimes what we see is entire palate has been infected, and there are black spots which are quite visible. So these are the minor signs which a patient can assess for himself at home and go and check with his doctor as early as possible. I suppose that was it. Just a brief introduction. I hope I did not bore you much with the presentation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tanay. We have with us Dr. Animesh Sahu. He is an eminent eye surgeon, expert in cataract and oculoplasty, and we are thankful to him for him to be available here today for us to understand the situation. And he's dealing with the extremely complicated mucormycosis surgeries, that is the scary black fungus. So, doctor, what is that we must know about the treatment and complications in before COVID and post-COVID patients?
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so first I would like to thank IIA for providing me the opportunity. I just wanted to share a brief presentation of that is basically the patient which I treated or which I am treating. Can I, yeah, I just allow to share my screen? Because it's not a kind of basically any education presentation, it's a kind of the things we are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Should I start?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the disease is called mucormycosis, or commonly in our term black fungus. I'm not able to. I'm not able to forward it. Just a minute. I think now. Okay. Okay. So the first and foremost important thing is don't panic. So whatever the situation is, whatever the symptoms you are feeling, you should not be panic, because the black fungus is not the one who is affecting all the patients those are having COVID. But definitely you should be very careful, because it is a life-threatening condition, and it is postulated that if we delay the diagnosis about a week, the outcome will be poor. So from where, what is the source of this fungus infection? So it is already spores are there in the environment, but it is an opportunistic infection, which means whenever we have a decrease in our immunity because of the COVID, so within 2 to 6 weeks, you can get infection with the same fungus what we are having spores in the air only. So in which patients the risk of fungal infection is high, especially the diabetic patient, those are already having the diabetes which is uncontrolled. Nowadays, we are seeing commonly the young patients also affected with the diabetes. And the important thing is that even you don't have a diabetes, but the sugar level is increased during the COVID. So you should keep a close checkup on your sugar. Do not self-medicate yourself, because it may contain the steroid or immunosuppressive drugs, which definitely prone to get secondary infection by fungus. Risky patient like cancer patient, patients are having blood disorder, or any long-standing kidney disease patients may get affected with the fungus, black fungus. The patient those are taking oxygen therapy or breathing device or already having lung disease are also prone to get the black fungus infection. So the disease itself, in our term, we call rhino-orbital cerebral mucormycosis, which means the rhino is for the nose, orbital means the eye, and cerebral is the brain. So our work is to diagnose the disease and start treatment once it is in the nose only. So it is kind of traffic signal we have. Like green signal, if you see if disease is limited up to the nose, it is good to start the treatment. If it's reached up to the eye, it's obviously a sign that disease is getting worse. And it's when it reaches up to the brain, it's difficult to manage these type of cases. So what are the, as I told that the nose is the first thing, or sinus is the first thing to get involved. So the symptoms usually associated with the nose only, and they are very similar to the sinusitis patient. Like you can have a nasal blockage, foul smell, nasal discharge, facial pain, headache, toothache, change in the skin color, and exposed palate. When it's reached up to the eye, patient can have a periorbital, means the surrounding the eye, they can have the pain sensation, or sometimes the swelling also. So these are the patient, like I should say, last 1 month, I have selected few patients. What kind of symptoms and what kind of signs we can see in the patient of black fungus. So like if you see this patient is not having any kind of disfigurement or anything. He just have complaint of vision loss. So once we do the thorough investigation, we found out is a patient of black fungus. There may be a pain, slightly pain around the eye, and we have advised the MRI. We saw their sinuses are involved with the black fungus. Redness of the eye, also a presenting symptom of a black fungus. So whenever you have these kind of symptom, immediately you should to visit to the eye specialist. The swelling can be vary from small to much higher side. When you have a mild swelling, immediately consider the visiting a doctor. There may be a dropping of the lid, which is called ptosis. Means the eye, you will not able to close, you will not able to open your eyes fully, completely. So it can be up to mild to up to the severe condition. Sometimes we can get a patient, those are comes to us in a very worsened condition. Like if you see this patient is having gross swelling of the eye, as well as the lower part is also very much red. Sometimes you can get patients are not able to close the eye completely. So the black part of the eye, which is called cornea, has got affected and the ulcer is formed. In a severe patient like chronic diabetes patient, the skin involvement is also there. And that's why it's named as a black fungus, because it's called blackening of the skin as well as all the tissues which got affected. So to win against this mucor, we use a term treat. Treat means target, recognizing early and aggressive treatment of the mucor. It is basically work of multi-specialty hospital and involve lot of people. So how do we diagnose? It's dependent upon the predominant symptom. So if you have any symptom related to the nose or throat, you go to the ENT surgeon, or patient can come to the ophthalmologist also. Our ENT colleague do the endoscopic examination, so directly they will able to see the fungal growth if it is there, or they do the deep nasal swab. If patient come to us, we do the full checkup, and sometimes if we suspect, we advise the MRI orbit. So in MRI or CT scan, we can see the mucor. So broadly, basically, if you see the treatment of mucormycosis, is first and foremost important thing is we refer the patient to the ENT surgeon for the surgical debridement of the sinus. That is the most important thing. And obviously the glycemic control means the sugar control should be good. Associated with the debridement, there may need to give a injection amphotericin B, which now I think many of us will be aware it is a basically antifungal drug. So this is having a very important role in the treating of the mucormycosis. We should continue the treatment up to the complete resolution, which we can assess by MRI or clinically also. Sometimes during the process of the disease, we may need surgery by the maxillofacial surgeon, ophthalmologist, plastic surgeon, or neurosurgeon also. So every patient, we should have a tailored approach. For me, the vision loss is not a criteria for the eyeball removal. The patients are having maybe the loss of vision, but minimal eye involvement or no brain involved. We can observe the patient, we can start the antifungal medication, and sometimes we can give the antifungal injection indirectly into the eye. That is called retrobulbar amphotericin. Sometimes patients come to us in a very advanced conditions where we have to compromise the eye because we want to save the life of the patients. As many people said, life before sight. So we sometimes for preventing the life, we have to remove the eye. So there are multiple guidelines. There are all the technical things like we can have a liposomal amphotericin B, sevaconazole, lot of medications options are there. So it is not only the surgery that the important thing. It is the, we have to judge the patient according to the condition. We have to grade the patient, and we have to start the treatment as early as possible whenever you diagnose the patient. So as said in many diseases, the prevention is better than the cure. So how can we prevent the fungal infection? Obviously, the good hygiene of the face and oral cavity is must. There are a lot of things are there which is still to be proven, but they are found effective for preventing black fungus, like betadine GAGA. Masking is definitely very important. Always use a mask, but you have to change the mask, or you have to maintain the cleanliness of the mask. Environment cleanliness, like all the things we are using, bread, fruits, vegetable, all everything, it should be clean and there's no exposure to a decaying organic matter. Sugar control, very important role. Steroid therapy definitely is very much required in many patients of moderate to severe COVID, but it should be monitored and it should be judged by the clinician only. So it should be use should be optimized according to the patient. Use of clean distilled water for the humidifier during oxygen. Also nowadays it is the research is going on, but definitely it's said that maybe the use of fabricated oxygen or we don't use a distilled water, there may be increase the chances of the fungal infection. Definitely till now, nobody has proven the role of starting antibiotic or antifungal in COVID patient to prevent the fungal infection. So till now, we are not basically advising any antifungal to prevent the infection. I think most of the things I covered regarding the eye and the infection. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Animesh. Thank you so much. That was very, very informative and elaborate. And it must be, I hope, it must be very helpful to all. So, do we have Dr. Chanel here?
Yeah, I'm very much here. Actually, I'm in the OT. I hope I'm audible. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, you
Yeah.
are.
audible. And
So,
welcome.
are you comfortable, ma'am?
Yeah, we can talk. Maybe in between I may be absent because we've got some emergency case, so I had to come.
I understand.
Yeah.
So, you're a very busy NT surgeon, and welcome to the panel.
Yeah, thank you.
There are so many things to ask. So, what, like, I'll put too many questions, and then I'll conclude with one specific that we want to know. What
Yeah.
is this virus? In the sense, what are we dealing with? What are some most remarkable symptoms of this COVID patient? And to be specific, how to decide on the severity of infection with some signs in eyes, nose.
Yeah. So there we have some general signs.
Please tell us.
Yeah. So some signs are very general, like headache, fever, malaise. You don't feel like working. Some patients get diarrhea, vomiting. So these are but if it is not getting controlled, we must approach the doctor. So these will be the milder symptoms. But as the disease progresses, then some patients may start getting difficulty in breathing or shortness of breath. They are not able to do their routine activities. And sometimes they cannot even go to the washroom. So that is the place if the oxygen saturation is falling below 90, then it is very important to meet the doctor. And some patients, the fever does not get controlled. So 2-3 days if you have fever, you need to meet the consultant. That is how it goes. And then according to the individual patient, we take a call on treating. So if you have some specific questions, we can take them up.
Okay. So, Manoj?
Yes, yes. I'll ask a question, start with my questions. First, Dr. Tanay, I'm expecting you to answer this question. How did this triple mutant, which has become infamous worldwide, can you hear me?
Yeah, we are very much.
Yeah, which has become infamous worldwide. How did this develop, and how it is different from the last one which came last year? And are the symptoms different? Is the treatment different? So what is that actually?
So what happens is every living organism, it has the tendency to mutate, to change its own behavior. हर किसी की अपनी एक टेंडेंसी होती है टू म्यूटेशन की, ताकि वो सरवाइव कर सके. We have been mutated from monkeys, and since over the period of last millions and millions of years, हम लोग भी mutate हो करके आज जो हैं वो वैसे बने हैं just for the sake of survival. The same as goes with this virus also. ये भी अपना म्यूटेशन समय समय पे करता है ताकि ये सरवाइव कर सके, अपना नेक्स्ट जो है होस्ट उसको प्रॉपरली नेक्स्ट होस्ट में जाकर के उसमें अपना इन्फेक्शन बढ़ा सके, अपने मल्टीप्लिकेशन कर सके. तो ये म्यूटेशन जो है बेसिकली इसी वजह से इसने अपना स्वरूप बदला, इसने अपने आप को चेंज किया है और इट हैज़ बिकम डबल म्यूटेंट, ट्रिपल म्यूटेंट एंड विद द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम इसने अपनी विरुलेंस भी बढ़ाई है। विरुलेंस एज इन कि ये पहले जितना ज़्यादा इसकी सीवेरिटी होती थी उससे हम लोग इस बार देख रहे हैं जो सेकेंड वेव आई है उसमें ये देखने में मिल रहा है कि परिवार की परिवार इसमें ग्रसित हो रहा है। पहले वी यूज्ड टू सी आइसोलेटेड पेशेंट्स, घर से एक कोई सदस्य होता था, बाकी लोग फिर भी बच जाते थे, या जो इम्यूनो सप्रेस्ड होते थे, जिनकी उम्र ज़्यादा है, जिनको शुगर है, जो किडनी के मरीज़ है, हार्ट के मरीज़ हैं, जो पहले से किसी न किसी दूसरी बीमारी से ग्रसित हैं, वो लोग ज़्यादा इनसे इन्फेक्ट होते थे। और अब जो सेकेंड वेव आई है इसमें इसने बच्चों को, यंग लोगों को, कम उम्र के लोगों को और जो इम्यूनो कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं है उन लोगों को भी इसने इफेक्ट करना शुरू करा है। तो दिस इज बेसिकली जस्ट द सर्वाइवल टैक्टिक, एक सर्वाइवल की उसकी अपनी नीति है वायरस की, जिसकी वजह से इसने अपने आप को म्यूटेट किया है और इसने अपना स्वरूप बदला है।
तो सर क्या इंडिया में इसको ज्यादा रेजिस्टेंस मिला इंडियन पीपल में, तो ज्यादा तगड़ा हो गया, ये ज्यादा
नहीं, ये कहना
खतरनाक हो
बहुत
गया?
मुश्किल होगा कि इंडिया में इसको ज़्यादा रेजिस्टेंस मिला या इंडिया में इसका स्वरूप ज़्यादा बदल गया है, ऐसा भी नहीं है। वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज़ में, जो यूरोप में हम लोगों ने देखा था, इटली वगैरह में हमने देखा था, वहाँ पर भी इसने बहुत डिवास्टेशन किया था, वहाँ पर भी इसने बहुत लोगों को परेशान किया था। तो इट इज़ वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू कमेंट ऑन दैट, बट हाँ, ये बात सही है कि इस बार की जो वेव आई थी इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा इसकी तीव्रता देखने को मिली है और इसका विरुलेंस देखने को मिला है।
सर इनकी सिम्टम्स में क्या डिफरेंस आया पिछले वाले और इसमें सिम्टम्स?
लास्ट टाइम के जो सिम्टम्स थे और अभी के जो सिम्टम्स, जो उसमें डिफरेंस मेन जो हम देख रहे हैं वो टाइम पीरियड का आया है। लास्ट टाइम में फीवर जो आता था पेशेंट को, फीवर पेशेंट को आता था, उसके वो 5वें 6ठे दिन हमारे पास आता था, फिर उसके बाद में वो उसके भी नेक्स्ट 4 to 5 डेज में उसको धीरे धीरे ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ 10 to 12 डेज द पेशेंट यूज्ड टू प्रेजेंट विद ऑल द सिम्टम्स। इस बार जो है बहुत कम टाइम फ्रेम हमको मिलती थी। पेशेंट हमारे पास 2 दिन की हिस्ट्री लेके आता है और चौथे दिन अगर उसका आप सीटी स्कैन देखें या उसके ब्लड इन्वेस्टिगेशंस देखें या उसका एक्सरे देखें तो बीमारी बहुत ज़्यादा डेवलप हो चुकी रहती थी। तो दैट वाज अ बिग डिफरेंस वेयर इट वाज अ बिग सेटबैक हम लोगों के लिए, पेशेंट्स के लिए, आम जनता के लिए, ये समझ पाना कि हमें कब डॉक्टर के पास जाना है, कब इसमें अलार्म होना है, वो बहुत डिफिकल्ट हुआ था। अनयूजुअल सिम्टम्स जो इस बार नए देखने को मिले, जो पिछली बार ज़्यादा नहीं देखने को मिलते थे, वो इस बार के हैं। सीवियर बॉडी एक, हाई ग्रेड फीवर, जो लास्ट टाइम फीवर रहता था पर फीवर इतना ज़्यादा नहीं रहता था, इस बार हाई ग्रेड फीवर 104 105 तक के टेम्परेचर आते हैं पेशेंट को। सीवियर बॉडी एक होता है, नोजिया, वॉमिटिंग, लूज मोशंस, डायरिया, ये सब बहुत, हर चीज़ की इंटेंसिटी बढ़ी हुई दिखाई दी है इस बार।
तो इसमें ट्रीटमेंट में भी कुछ चेंजेस किए गए, कुछ अपडेट्स किए गए इसके?
जो मेन लाइन ऑफ ट्रीटमेंट इसके अंदर हम लोग शुरुआत से बताते हैं कि आपको अगर घर पर बुखार आ रहा है तो सिंपल क्रोसिन लीजिए, आप हाइड्रेशन अपना अच्छा रखिए, रेस्ट कीजिए और अपनी आरटीपीसीआर की जांच कराइए। ये शुरुआत के फर्स्ट डे ऑफ सिम्टम से आपको रिलीजियसली फॉलो करना है। एंड ट्राई टू सीक मेडिकल एडवाइस एज अर्ली एज पॉसिबल। अपने डॉक्टर से जाकर के शीघ्र अतिशीघ्र मिलिए। आप उस बुखार को अनदेखा ना करिए ये सोच के कि मैंने तो आज काम ज़्यादा कर लिया था, या मैंने आज कुछ धूप में कुछ चला गया था, या मेरा कल रात को नींद पूरी नहीं हुई थी, या जो भी है, XYZ, बहुत सारे रीजंस हो सकते हैं। बट फीवर, first onset of fever is a very important thing. Day of onset of fever, day of onset of illness is very important. डे ऑफ इलनेस बहुत कुछ डिपेंड करती है, बहुत कुछ डिसाइड करती है कि आगे फ्यूचर डिजीज का कैसे होने वाला है। सेकेंड इज, इसके अंदर हमको ये देखना चाहिए कि पेशेंट की इम्यून सिस्टम कैसा है, उसका खुद का रोग प्रतिरोधक क्षमता जो है वो क्या एज ज़्यादा है उसकी, या उसको कोई दूसरी बीमारी है, शुगर, बीपी, थायराइड, हार्ट की कोई समस्या है, ये सब चीज़ें भी डिपेंड करती हैं कि उसकी सीवियरिटी कैसी रहेगी।
सर एक ट्रीटमेंट का क्वेश्चन आ रहा था कि लाइक
ट्रीटमेंट का
WHO removed plasma therapy and also planning to remove remdesivir from the suggestive treatment of COVID. तो उसके अब नया क्या पेशेंट के लिए होप है कि नई कुछ चीज ऐसी आ गई जो मुझे बचा लेगी सीवियर पेशेंट्स के लिए?
सबसे पहले तो ये समझना पड़ेगा कि इसमें अभी तक कोई भी confirmatory treatment till date we don't have anything.
Okay,
we can just manage the symptoms, we can just manage the disease. आपके पास पेशेंट आता है, हमारे पास पेशेंट आता है, आप ये मत सोचिए कि हमने रेमडेसिविर लगा लिया है तो हम जो है हम वी आर डन नाउ। ये रेमडेसिविर भी रामबाण नहीं है, ये भी कोई फुल एंड फाइनल ट्रीटमेंट नहीं है। ये ब्रॉड स्पेक्ट्रम एंटीवायरल है जो कि आपको पहले भी पेशेंट्स को हम लोग दिया करते थे फॉर डिफरेंट सॉर्ट ऑफ डिजीजेस, बट इस बीमारी के अंदर इसका रोल शुरुआती दिनों के अंदर अच्छा देखा जाता है, इसलिए हम उसका इस्तेमाल करते हैं डिपेंडिंग अपॉन कि पेशेंट को कोई पहले से कोई लिवर की समस्या तो नहीं है, कोई किडनी की समस्या तो नहीं है, उसके हिसाब से डोज एडजस्ट करके हर पेशेंट को रेमडेसिविर लगाई जाए इसका कोई गारंटी नहीं है, इसकी कोई ज़रूरी नहीं है, ये कोई ज़रूरी नहीं है। रही बात प्लाज्मा की, प्लाज्मा एक अपने आप में एक्सपेरिमेंटल ट्रीटमेंट है, एक अपने आप में अंडर ट्रायल ट्रीटमेंट है। हर किसी डॉक्टर का इसका अपना अपना एक एक्सपीरियंस है। मेरा एक्सपीरियंस पर से इसके अंदर मैं ये कहूँगा कि प्लाज्मा का रिस्पांस मुझे अच्छा मिलता है, बशर्ते मैं उसको जल्दी यूज़ करूँ। अगर मेरे पास डे ऑफ इलनेस पेशेंट जो है अपने सिम्टम 14 दिन बाद आ रहा है, 20 दिन बाद आ रहा है, तब प्लाज्मा का रोल बहुत लिमिटेड रहता है, ज़्यादा कुछ बचता नहीं है। हाँ, मगर पेशेंट अगर जल्दी डिजीज प्रोग्रेस कर गई है और पेशेंट का डे ऑफ इलनेस 7 या 8 ही है, उस समय अगर मैं कॉन्वलेसेंट प्लाज्मा या कोविड प्लाज्मा का इस्तेमाल करता हूँ तो मुझे फिर भी अच्छा बेहतर रिस्पॉन्स मिलने की संभावना रहती है।
ओके, ग्रेट ग्रेट सर। एक बहुत फ्रीक्वेंट क्वेश्चन है, हाउ विल दिस थर्ड वेव इफ इट कम्स विल लुक लाइक?
गॉड फॉरबिड इट कम्स फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल,
yes.
पर यस, कीपिंग आवर फिंगर्स क्रॉस्ड, ऐसा ना हो, भगवान ना करे ऐसा हो। पर हाँ, ये ज़रूर जो एक्सपर्ट्स हैं इस बारे में, जो ये जो आगे राय दे रहे हैं, उनका यही कहना है कि थर्ड वेव आने की संभावना पूरी रहेगी। विरुलेंस के बारे में कहना थोड़ा मुश्किल है कि कैसी रहती है विरुलेंस, क्या होता है, कितना इंटेंसिटी ऑफ डिजीज क्या रहती है, पर हाँ ये हमको अपनी सतर्कता बनाकर चलनी है। आपको हमारा गाइडलाइंस फॉलो, सरकारी गाइडलाइंस के आधार पे उसके तहत काम करना है और हमें अपने आप को, अपने परिवार को सुरक्षित रखना है। थर्ड वेव क्या होती है, कब आती है, ये तो अब समय बताएगा, पर आप अपने आप को, अपने प्रोटेक्शंस, अपनी गाइडलाइंस को बस फॉलो करते रहिए, तो अब थर्ड वेव आए या ना आए उससे कुछ ज़्यादा फर्क पड़ना नहीं है। एंड मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली जो हम वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज में देख रहे हैं, यूएस में देख रहे हैं कि अब वहाँ पर लोगों ने मास्क तक की गाइडलाइंस कई जगहों पर हटा दी गई है, फॉर द वेरी सिंपल रीजन दैट दे आर प्रमोटिंग वैक्सीनेशन टू हाईएस्ट पॉसिबल एक्सटेंट। हमारे यहाँ पर भी हम जो लैक कर रहे हैं अभी वो वैक्सीनेशन है। आप वैक्सीनेशन ड्राइव को अपने को और बढ़ाना चाहिए, जितना जल्दी वैक्सीनेशन, जितना ज़्यादा वैक्सीनेशन को हम प्रमोट करेंगे, नेक्स्ट वेव्स आने की संभावना, थर्ड वेव, फोर्थ वेव, फिफ्थ वेव आने की संभावना उतनी ज़्यादा कम होती जाएगी।
सर, तो वैक्सीनेशन पे अगर बात करें तो जो वैक्सीनेशन अवेलेबल धीरे धीरे गवर्नमेंट करवाई रही है, बट शुड वी वेट फॉर वैक्सीन्स लाइक फाइजर एंड मॉडर्ना, आर दे बेटर?
Yet again it is not at all possible to comment confirmatory कि कौन सा बेटर है कौन सा नहीं है, बट हाँ ये बात सही है, हर वैक्सीन जो है वो अलग अलग मैकेनिज्म पे काम कर रहा है। जो हमारे यहाँ पर जो वैक्सीन अवेलेबल है, कोवैक्सीन और कोविशील्ड, उनका मैकेनिज्म अलग है। जो बाहर फाइजर, मॉडर्ना, जॉनसन, ये जो वैक्सीन है इनके मैकेनिज्म्स अलग हैं। हमारी इंडियन पॉपुलेशन के हिसाब से उसको स्टडी करते हुए हम लोगों ने जो भारत सीरम ने कोवैक्सीन बनाया है और जो एस्ट्राजेनेका ने कोविशील्ड बनाया है, उसकी एफिकेसी हमारे हिसाब से बहुत अच्छी है, बहुत बढ़िया है, हमें उसे इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए। आने वाले समय में अगर स्पुतनिक आता है, फाइजर आता है, जॉनसन एंड जॉनसन आते हैं, जो भी आते हैं, हम उसका इस्तेमाल करेंगे। बट येट अगेन ऐसा कहना, कंपैरेटिव कभी किसी कंपैरिजन करना, इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल बिकॉज दे हैव डिफरेंट मैकेनिज्म्स ऑफ एक्शन एंड दे आर डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स ऑफ वैक्सीन्स। दे आर एफिकेसी वाइज, इफ यू आस्क मी, दे आर ऑल इक्वली एफिकेशियस।
मतलब जो भी मिले वैक्सीन करवा लेना चाहिए पहली फुर्सत में।
सब बराबर है।
चलिए, ठीक है सर। आर्किटेक्ट विनय, डू यू वांट टू कंटिन्यू और शुड आई कंटिन्यू विद माय क्वेश्चंस?
You kindly ask questions to Dr. Kothari because she has to go. She's waiting outside the OT. So I think we should prioritize and complete with her questions first. So you kindly continue with Dr. Kothari, please.
Okay. So, Dr. Kothari, just a very common question that are the use of antibiotics impact our immunity in the long run? Should we continuously or frequently take antibiotics for small diseases also?
No, not at all. You must always consult your doctor before you take antibiotic. In COVID also, antibiotics are given only when indicated. Okay? And anytime you take an antibiotic, you have to complete the course, that is minimum 5 days. So some people are in a habit, they take by themselves and stop in 1 or 2 days. develop resistance in the bacteria.
Okay. So that means that it shouldn't be taken frequently
Not at all.
by one's own will. Yeah.
No.
Thank you, doctor. So, the architect Vinay, you can continue now. Vinay sir, are you there?
Sorry, I forgot to unmute. I'm so sorry. So we'll take some quick questions so that we can allow Dr. Kothari to leave. The questions from Google Form. Should we begin with that?
No, I
Yes,
have
sir.
two more questions if you allow me to continue.
Please.
Yeah, there is actually, I think Dr. Tanay again would be able to answer this. Dr. Tanay, can you hear?
Yeah, sure. I'm
Yeah, actually, there was one question. If one who has been COVID positive, so should he first go for an antibody test and then opt for vaccination? Because if the antibodies are developed with the COVID positive this thing, so do he need to get vaccinated?
Yeah. So that is quite an interesting question. इसका अभी जो गवर्नमेंट गाइडलाइंस जो बनाई गई है उसके हिसाब से अगर बात करें तो आफ्टर योर रिकवरी फ्रॉम योर कोविड डिजीज इन्फेक्शन initially it was 4 to 6 weeks. Now they have increased it to almost 3 months. After that you can get yourself vaccinated, and definitely you should get vaccinated irrespective of your antibody levels, whatever they are.
Okay. So one very common question, maybe Dr. Animesh would also like to answer. Yeah, you may also do that. So can we define a person with a very high immunity, who will not get infected in any case? Can we define a person? What would be his hygiene, his nutrition intake? Can we define so that everybody who's seeing here can follow that to become more immune to these diseases?
So if a person is basically less than 40, 45 with no comorbidity, कोई भी बीमारी नहीं है उसको, he is ready to stay at home 24/7. He is not going out. Basically, I want to say it's not possible. Okay, anybody can have, and obviously he is cooking by himself. No outside vegetable is coming. Nothing like, it's very difficult basically. So anybody can get infected. We should be careful. That is the most important thing. And if he or she got infected, should not be panic. Like even myself, I had a COVID last month. Okay. So, but the thing is important thing, because since me and my wife, even my kids, all were infected, but since we were vaccinated, so we would not have a बहुत ज़्यादा symptom नहीं, बहुत ज़्यादा problem नहीं. Obviously, we have to be in isolation for some time, ताकि आप infection का source ना बने. The only thing, even for me, if I would say, after 2 months of 2 doses of vaccination, I got infected. And we are working since last year continuously with the patient. We are very much exposed. किसको भी कभी भी हो सकता है, whether you are vaccinated, whether you are exposed, it doesn't matter. So we should be more careful. That is the only thing.
सर इसके लिए कोई न्यूट्रिशन ऐसा कुछ न्यूट्रिशन डाइट कुछ सजेस्ट करेंगे?
You all things those increase your immunity, like protein, whatever mineral or whatever supplementation are there, जो भी अच्छी चीजें हैं, है ना? There are a lot of postulations are there, like if you use some product which are having vitamin C, more vitamin C. I think Dr. Tanay will be the better person who can give the answer.
If I may, if I have the permission, Dr. Animesh sir, कि मैं कुछ ऐड कर सकूं या कुछ बता?
Please.
आपका क्वेश्चन अच्छा था मनोज जी. इसमें सर का कहना बिल्कुल सही है कि कोई भी व्यक्ति किसी भी समय ग्रसित हो सकता है, इन्फेक्ट हो सकता है. वैक्सीन जो आपकी मदद करेगा वो सीवियरिटी ऑफ डिजीज को रोकने में मदद करेगा, ना कि आपके RT-PCR पॉजिटिव होने में मदद करेगा. आप वैक्सीनेटेड हैं उसका मतलब ये नहीं कि कोविड नहीं हो सकता है. कोविड फिर भी हो सकता है, बट ये है कि आपके जो डिजीज सीवियरिटी है वो उतनी नहीं बढ़ेगी जितनी एक नॉन वैक्सीनेटेड पर्सन में बढ़ेगी, जैसा कि अनिमेश सर का फर्स्ट हैंड एक्सपीरियंस रहा है रिसेंट टाइम्स. रही बात इम्यूनिटी की, सेल्फ इम्यूनिटी की, तो एक हेल्दी डाइट, एक न्यूट्रिशन, सभी जितने भी अप्रोप्रिएट न्यूट्रिएंट्स हैं, प्रोटीन, कार्बोहाइड्रेट, विटामिन, ये सब एक एडिक्वेट अमाउंट में जो हम देते हैं आमतौर पे हमारे घर में, उसको बैलेंस करते हुए चलते हुए वो डाइट लेना चाहिए। और एक डेली रूटीन फॉर एक्सरसाइज, माइल्ड टू मॉडरेट फॉर्म ऑफ एक्सरसाइज शुड ऑलवेज बी देयर, विच कीप्स योर इम्यून सिस्टम इन टू चेक. दैट इज मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट. एंड डेफिनेटली एवरीबडी हु, इस बार की तो वेव में हमने महीनों, छोटे 4 महीने 5 महीने तक के बच्चों को पॉजिटिव होते हुए देखा है, अप टू एल्डरली लाइक 95-100 years old. So it is not possible to distinguish who is at least risk to get exposed and who is at to get infected and become positive.
Okay. Sir, Animesh sir, one more question to you. What
Sorry,
is the
Manoj.
spread?
Sorry, Manoj, I am interrupting, but I think
Sir.
Dr. Shanil Kothari is waiting outside the OT. So I'll just request, there can be some emergency, if you can just finish up with.
We have asked all questions to her. I think she can leave.
Okay, so then
Manoj, I think
Yeah.
if she can attend the questions from the Google form briefly, we'll do it very fast so that we have her view also. We can expedite that right now, and then later on we'll get back to Dr. Animesh and Dr. Tanmay.
Okay, Dr. Kothari, are you there? Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. One question which came,
Yes.
what precautions should be taken during pregnancy if COVID positive? And what treatment has to be done?
No, so being pregnant does not change the precautions that we have to take. We still have to wear the mask, and we have to take social distancing, try to isolate, and then we have to appropriately take the treatment depending upon the severity of the disease. But that actually does not change the protocol anyway.
So how does one get X-ray done if one is pregnant? For the
No, usually, no, we do not usually do an X-ray during the pregnancy. So we will go by the symptoms and the RT-PCR report. And if at all required, and if it's an emergency, then we have to take the case as per the requirement. Then we have to individualize the case. But on a general day-to-day basis, it does not differ much.
Okay, that's it, I think.
So we'll be continuing with the session, and we must allow Dr. Kothari to leave because she is attending some emergency right now. And we are
Yes.
very thankful, and I would request Kothari Saab to join us whenever we are doing this next, because it was very helpful and informative by her presence. And it's been really very kind of you to be available in such a time when we are all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kothari. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I'm sorry, but I have to attend the emergency also. So maybe I'm cutting short. Thank you once
So
again. Thank
appreciable
you, sir.
you gave us time, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
So I'll go back to Dr. Tanay. Dr. Tanay, in the recent times, it was very difficult to arrange oxygen for many. And what are the anticipated requirements in the third wave if it comes? God forbid it doesn't, but if it does come, what is the readiness that the society must have?
Thank you, Vinay sir. But if you may allow me, I would like to add few more points from the last question itself, because it was a very important question, and
Please.
we have a lot of trouble with pregnant females because pregnancy in itself is a different kind of process, and if pregnant female they get infected, it is a huge problem for the family, for the baby, and for everybody. They are actually more prone, I would not say more prone, but they are actually at a very high risk. I would consider them at a high risk patient. Considering the second fetal life at risk, they should be very much alarmed. अपने symptoms के बारे में उन्हें बहुत ज़्यादा अवगत होना चाहिए. They should be very much alert about their symptoms. They should be more cautious about the precautions that they have to take, like mask, social distancing, not going into public places. उनको ज़्यादा उस बारे में ज़्यादा सतर्क रहना चाहिए. God forbid if some pregnant female gets infected, she has to go and seek medical care as early as possible. And that was a very important question which was raised, whether to get an X-ray and a CT scan done of pregnant females. So X-ray is absolutely contraindicated. X-ray and CT scans are absolutely contraindicated in any pregnant females. But if it is an utter need, it is an urgency, it is actually a requirement, then I would recommend go for a CT scan with proper abdominal shield. There is a shield which protects the rays, the X-rays and the radiations to cross the fetus and harm the baby. Relatively, CT scan radiations are lesser as compared to other forms of modalities, radiological modalities. High resolution CT scan, their radiations are relatively safer, and abdominal shield is definitely important in such cases. So that also should be done after medical advice with supervision of a doctor, not by yourself. Because I have been seeing patients, pregnant females, wo CT scan le leke hamare paas aati hai, and I used to be very disappointed that why did you get it done in the first place. So second question which you asked me was what should be the readiness about oxygen. So what I would like to say is you don't have to panic. अभी अनिमेश साहू सर ने एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट अपने सेमिनार में बात बोली थी. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, डोंट पैनिक. आप पैनिक करेंगे तो यू विल लूज हाफ द बैटल. You have to stay calm. You have to understand the gravity of the situation and then go ahead with whatever is required. Step by step approach. जो algorithm सरकार ने बनाया है, जो guidelines सरकार ने बनाई हैं, उसका अगर नियमित रूप से follow करेंगे तो nothing is going to happen to you. What we are seeing is the patients, the attendants who are panicking and जो stocking कर रहे हैं ऑक्सीजन की, रेमडेसिविर की, जो घरों में दवाइयाँ चला रहे हैं, घरों में इंजेक्शन चला रहे हैं, those are the patients most prone to become critical. वो ज़्यादा बिगड़ते हैं, उनकी कंडीशन ज़्यादा खराब होती है बनस्पत उन मरीजों के जो सिंपल गाइडलाइंस फॉलो करते हुए डे टू डे बेसिस पे अपने सिम्टम्स को मॉनिटर करते हुए मेडिकल अटेंशन को मेडिकल स्पेशलिस्ट के गाइडेंस में अपना इलाज कराते हैं, तो वो इजीली बीमारी से बाहर निकल आते हैं. जो घर में ऑक्सीजन लगा करके अपने आप को ये सोचते हैं कि हमने ऑक्सीजन लगा लिया है, हमें अब जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, हॉस्पिटल हमें भर्ती होने की जरूरत नहीं है, हमारा ऑक्सीजन सैचुरेशन ठीक आ रहा है, गूगल नॉलेज, व्हाट्सएप यूनिवर्सिटी की जो बात चली थी थोड़ी देर पहले, ये बहुत डेंजरस चीजें हैं. ये हम इस बार की वेव में बहुत ज्यादा हम लोगों ने देखा है कि इस तरह का कोई भी स्टंट घर पे करना इज वेरी वेरी डेंजरस.
एक सिमिलर क्वेश्चन मिथिलिन ब्लू के बारे में आता है. लोग पूछने की किसी डॉक्टर ने सजेस्ट किया है, तो इज इट इफेक्टिव और वुड यू सजेस्ट?
Methylene blue basically it's having the since last 50 years it's having the property of antibacterial, antifungal, lot of qualities are there. But if you ask me about the science and all, basically till now we don't have any proven thing. So there are a lot of things are there people are using, but definitely till now I didn't found it's harmful at least. Okay, if anyone want to use, you can. I think what my session is, because even I'm knowing few of people those are using regularly, even they also got infected, but few are there those are not like getting benefit from it. So we are not basically, it's not basically, if you ask me about any scientific thing, yeah, definitely, but that is for sure. Since even Spanish flu, it's having the property of antifungal as well as antibacterial, so maybe it can give some benefit.
But it's not proven.
It is not a proven drug. What sir means to say is it is yet again not a proven drug. It is not a proven treatment for COVID-19. It is again an experimental drug which sometimes may benefit the patient, but sometimes even cause more harm. I would like to ask one question to Dr. Animesh sir. What was his experience with patients having conjunctivitis or sinusitis after using excessive usage of methylene blue and not, with no dose alterations and no dose managements? Have you experienced any such patients, sir?
No, methylene blue till now, if you ask me about like post-COVID or COVID patient with the conjunctivitis, obviously few people are basically taking the methylene blue in two forms. Some are like in the boring time 1 or 2 ml. Okay. Some people are taking the vapor of methylene.
Yeah, nebulized form. I was asking about nebulized form. Yeah.
So till now we don't find any kind, like till now I haven't seen last 6 months any case of conjunctivitis because of the methylene blue use.
But there have been cases I have been experienced. I have been seeing cases of patients having severe sinusitis because of methylene blue only. We got really stuck in those patients where they had severe sinusitis, rhinosinusitis, and at the end nothing was to be blamed, no mucor, nothing, but just methylene blue.
Maybe it may be.
Okay.
So, Dr. Animesh, you have been explicit in your presentation about the key cautions in COVID treatment to be safe from black fungus. But just to highlight it for sake of the masses, what is the most common mistake that you have observed because of which this is spreading?
See, for the black fungus, if you ask me, what we found is a most common thing in all patients. Like if I see 10 patients per day of black fungus, 9 out of 10 are having uncontrolled diabetes. That is for sure. Secondly, obviously all patients have an exposure of steroid use during the corona treatment, but that is also a life-saving. I am not asking that steroid should not be given. Should be given, but monitoring all the parameters, जो उसके side effect होते हैं वो. Third thing, if you ask me, poor hygiene and all, definitely the chances of infection जो होते हैं black fungus में ऐसे पेशेंटों में ज़्यादा होते हैं. तो जो और necessary precaution जैसे मैंने presentation में बताया कि don't use that same mask for a month. Like we have seen many patients, those are using the same mask for a month or something like that. Obviously वो humidifier, humid होता है, black fungus grow होने के chances ज़्यादा, उनको आप basically environment provide कर रहे हैं grow करने के लिए. ठीक है. तो लेकिन ये बेसिकली देयर आर पोस्टुलेशन की जो फंगस है दैट ऑल प्रेजेंट इन आवर बॉडी, सबकी बॉडी में, नोज में, म्यूकोसा में, सब में फंगस थोड़ा थोड़ा होता है. देयर आर लॉट ऑफ स्पीसीज आर देयर. लेकिन वो जो हमारा जो नॉर्मल इम्यून सिस्टम है या जो हमारे लेयर्स हैं उनको ब्रीच नहीं कर पाता. अगर आपकी इम्यूनिटी कम होगी तो वो जो ब्रीच होता है वहां से वो दैट इज कॉल्ड, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम टेलिंग अपॉर्चुनिस्टिक इन्फेक्शन. उसको एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल जाती है ग्रो करने की, अंदर जाने की. तो जहां वो आपकी ब्रीच हुई वो इम्यूनिटी वहां पर, तो वो यहाँ से ग्रो करता है फंगस. सो फॉर प्रिवेंटिंग फंगस डेफिनेटली यू शुड बी बेसिकली, जो मैंने अभी चैट में जो क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं उनमें से भी है, अर्ली डायग्नोसिस इज की फॉर ब्लैक फंगस. जितना आप अर्ली डायग्नोस करेंगे, जितना जल्दी आपको इस बारे में पता चलेगा ब्लैक फंगस है, इमीडिएटली वी स्टार्ट द ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ एंटी फंगल. और ऑब्वियसली जो इन्फेक्शन मैंने आपको बताया कि जो ग्रीन जोन है केवल नेजल और साइनस तक, वहां तक लिमिट रहेगा, दैट विल बी कंप्लीटली क्योर. एक बार वहां से इन्फेक्शन आगे बढ़ना शुरू हुआ इन्वॉल्विंग द आई और बेट, तो फिर वही दैट चांसेस ऑफ विजन लॉस के भी रहते हैं. और धीरे धीरे कंडीशन जो है, पेशेंट जितना डिपेंडेंट होगा उतना ही दिक्कत होती जाती है. तो दैट इज अ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ वही अवेयरनेस जो है कि whenever you have a symptom, and nowadays even I am seeing patient those are having history of COVID also, जिनके अकॉर्डिंग जिनको कोरोना नहीं हुआ, ऑब्वियसली मे बी कोरोना नहीं हुआ, लेकिन व्हाट आई थिंक कि मे बी कोरोना हुआ होगा, बट बिकॉज ऑफ द लेस सिम्टम वो नहीं उन्हें पता चला. तो दोज आर पेशेंट आल्सो नाउ आई एम गेटिंग, हर दिन में 1-2 पेशेंट जिनको कोविड की कोई हिस्ट्री नहीं है, बट दे आर हैविंग द ब्लैक फंगस.
So what is the what is the spreadability of this black fungus? ये क्या फैल सकता है अगर मेरे पास कोई बैठा है जिसको कभी black fungus?
I am treating 10 patients daily. I am dealing with that. Black fungus contact से नहीं फैलता है definitely.
Okay.
लेकिन हाँ, एक प्रिकॉशन हम obviously ले सकते हैं कि bare hand से टच नहीं करें ज्यादा, है ना, क्योंकि वो सेकेंडरी बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन हो सकता है कभी भी, है ना. तो we can take a precautions, all precaution, बट लेकिन ये ऐसा कॉन्टैक्ट डिसीज नहीं है ना, ऐसा कुछ है कि जो जैसे कि कोरोना वायरस ड्रॉपलेट इन्फेक्शन और ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है ब्लैक फंगस में. ठीक है, क्योंकि मेनी पीपल आर हैविंग डाउट कि ये आप साथ में बैठे हैं तो आपको हो सकता है. ब्लैक फंगस में ये नहीं है till now in my knowledge.
Dr. Sahu, one popular question is after COVID treatment, how far is this patient vulnerable to black fungus? How in terms of time?
We have seen patients up to 6 weeks, definitely 1.5-2 महीने में, but even the rare cases are there, those come after 2 months of therapy, or even they have corona in January and अभी मई चल रही है. I have seen one patient जनवरी में हुआ था and then now he got. लेकिन ये सब पेशेंट एकदम जो अनकंट्रोल्ड डायबिटीज और ये सब जो फैक्टर मैंने आपको स्टार्टिंग बताए हैं वैसे पेशेंट होते हैं। नॉर्मल पेशेंट अगर आप मुझसे पूछेंगे तो अप टू 2 to 6 वीक्स जो है वो चांसेस रहते हैं थोड़ा होने के ज़्यादा। वो नॉर्मल मतलब 10 में से 8 पेशेंट 2 to 6 वीक के अंदर आ जाते हैं अगर होता है।
अनिमेश सर,
हाँ
एक
जी।
क्वेश्चन है सर। बेसिकली देखिए, अभी हम लोग प्रोलॉन्ग, स्पेशली किड्स, दे आर प्रोलॉन्ग इन द यूज ऑफ कंप्यूटर्स, मोबाइल फोन्स, देयर क्लासेस. सो द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ ड्राइनेस दैट इज हैपनिंग इन द आई, उसका क्या मतलब, उसको कैसे बच्चों के कैसे हम लोग उससे तो उसे कैसे प्रोटेक्शन कैसे बढ़ा, बिकॉज all classes are happening online, all everything is online now. So the redness in the eye, the dryness in the eye has increased substantially.
लॉकडाउन में जो फर्स्ट टाइम लॉकडाउन जो हुआ था, फर्स्ट कोरोना में बेसिकली हमारे पास कोरोना के पेशेंट कम थे क्योंकि ब्लैक फंगस था नहीं, यही पेशेंट ज्यादा थे।
Exactly.
तो बेसिकली एक कुछ गाइडलाइंस होती हैं, इफ यू सर्च गूगल कंप्यूटर विजन सिंड्रोम, ओके, so they are giving all the instruction how far the screen should be, how like light कहाँ से आना चाहिए, आपको 20-20 रूल फॉलो करना चाहिए कि आपको 20 मिनट से स्क्रीन देखना है। जो प्रिकॉशंस है वो ये है। और अगर ड्राइनेस हो रही है,
ड्राइनेस के लिए मतलब बेसिकली ड्राइनेस के लिए जैसे we should water our eyes for because frequently.
हाँ, you can not watering, जाना वॉश करने से भी ड्राइनेस बढ़ती है। You can have a hot fomentation, like आप थोड़ा सा गर्म पानी करके उसमें रात को सोने के पहले you just take a warm cloth, soft cloth लेके, or you can do the hot fermentation. Secondly, the lubricating जो artificial tear आते हैं, है ना, preservative free. They are basically nowadays everyone who is in basically in software field and all now, they have to use it for sure because हमारी जो blinking rate है वो कम हो जाती है watching screen. तो dryness की problem is a very one of the most common problem in computer vision. तो डेफिनेटली उसके लिए सोल्यूशन यही है कि आप लुब्रिकेटिंग ड्रॉप यूज करें।
Answers received in the form, Google form.
Yes, we are so short of time also.
Yeah, we are short of time.
Question was there from Dr. Malay.
So some of the members are live also. I'll ask architect Jiten Mehta. Jiten sir, are you there?
Yes, I am very much there. I am watching.
So you would like to ask the question which you sent in the form itself.
I think my question was already answered by Dr. Tanay Joshi, which was related to this thing which I have sent in the Google form. So thank you, and looking to the time, let us take more questions. And my suggestion is, if there are more questions, probably we can, our team of IIMP chapter can compile the questions. We can seek, we can request our honorable doctors, and we can seek and we can send to the answers also to the respective members who have asked those questions.
Definitely. I'll now invite architect Snehal Sontake. Are you there, Snehal?
Yes, sir.
Please ask your question.
Sure. Firstly, I would like to thank Tanay sir and Animesh sir. It was very informative. Most of our queries are really answered very well. Tanay sir, there is a question for you. Post-COVID, my husband was admitted, and if a patient is there with a lung infection, he has already got remdesivir injections, and the doctor has recommended a blood thinner tablet. So even if the D-dimer values and CRP levels are normal, so should we continue the blood thinner tablets? And for how long should they be taken?
This COVID infection, what we have been seeing is there has been issues with the blood clotting. Thromboembolic episodes were observed, and prophylactic blood thinners were started on the patients. This has been a common observation, and guidelines have been made for the same. आपका जो क्वेश्चन है मैं समझ पा रहा हूँ कि your husband was infected and he was advised for blood thinners, and even though D-dimer levels were normal, it doesn't make any difference. What the guidelines are telling us, blood thinners need to be continued at least 3 to 4 weeks, even after what I am practicing personally, to go ahead with blood thinners at least 3 to 4 weeks, even after the patient has become recovered from COVID. Because there have been episodes that post-COVID also we see thrombotic, what we call it as thrombotic episodes. खून का थक्का जो है वो बनने की वजह से हार्ट पे, लंग्स में, ब्रेन में हमको कई बार इसके साइड इफेक्ट्स देखने को मिलते हैं. हम कई बार कोविड पेशेंट्स छुट्टी होने के बाद में अगर ब्लड थिनर्स बंद कर देते हैं तो उनके हार्ट में खून का थक्का जमना, उनके लंग्स में जमना, उनके ब्रेन में जमना, ये सब चीजें हो सकती है। तो इसलिए टू बी ऑन अ सेफर साइड इट इज ऑलवेज एडवाइजेबल टू कंटिन्यू विद द बेसिक ब्लड थिनर्स।
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. And like जैसे आपने vaccination का भी बोला, so even if the antibodies levels are more than around 200, 175 to 200, so 3 months के बाद you should take vaccination, or you need to do a antibody test again?
No need to get the antibody test again. The antibody test purpose, एंटीबॉडी टेस्ट का जो सिंपल पर्पस है वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ आपके कोविड प्लाज्मा डोनेशन के समय इस्तेमाल किए जाना है। उसके अलावा एंटीबॉडी टेस्ट का पर्पस आप लोगों के लिए इतना नहीं है जितना आप लोग सब लोग करवाते हैं। आप अगर एंटीबॉडी टेस्ट अगर आपका पॉजिटिव भी है उसके बावजूद भी वैक्सीन डेफिनेटली लगवाना है।
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much.
Great, sir. I'll take another question from the Google Forms from architect Brijesh Shejal. He's asking, do we need to take precautions to take vaccination if somebody is allergic or having some other conditions?
Yes. So this is the only precaution that needs to be taken. And अभी तक की जो अपनी जो पूरा observation रहा है since the day one of vaccination drive, there has been no major complications from the vaccine apart from hyperallergic response. Somebody who is allergic, hyperallergic patient है, किसी न किसी चीज का allergy है, treatment चल रहा है for some sort of hyperallergic reactions, they are the ones who might be able to get some reactions after vaccination. Otherwise, vaccine is absolutely safe. The only precaution that needs to be taken is आपके अगर परिवार में किसी को बुखार आ रहा है पिछले 3 दिन 4 दिन के अंदर जो कि अनडायग्नोज्ड है, आपके किसी नियर बाय जिससे आप एक्सपोज हुए हैं जिसको बुखार आ रहा है जो अनडायग्नोज्ड है और आपको अगर डाउट है कि आप उनसे एक्सपोज हुए हो, then don't go ahead with vaccination. अपना confirmatory एक diagnosis बनाइए कि आपको ऐसा तो नहीं है, already आप infected हैं, and then you go ahead with the vaccination. That might be a little problematic.
Okay. So you need to check it first. Another question from Gaurav Nidaria. Can a fully vaccinated person donate plasma?
No. As of now, the guidelines are strictly telling us that vaccination के बाद की जो antibodies हैं और जो exposure COVID recovery के बाद की antibodies हैं उनमें nature में difference होता है, strength में difference होता है। After vaccination आपकी immune system के अंदर पर्टिकुलर मॉडिफिकेशन होते हैं, टी सेल मेमोरी सेल्स बनते हैं जो कि उस पर्टिकुलर वायरस से आपको लड़ने में मदद करते हैं। और प्लाज्मा के लिए आपको लाइव एंटीबॉडीज लगती हैं जो कि आपकी एक्सपोजर के बाद में रिकवरी के बाद में ही आपको मिल सकती है। तो गो अहेड विद वैक्सीन कोविड डोनेशन ओनली इफ द पर्सन हैज बीन इन्फेक्टेड एंड फुली रिकवर्ड आफ्टर 14 to 21 days of recovery.
Okay. I'm taking a question which I was expecting from Jiten sir. I'll modify it and ask that because that's a relevant question, maybe coming to many of us mind. That if somebody has taken 2 doses of vaccination already, and if he's thinking of taking another dose, so should he do it, or of maybe Sputnik or Pfizer or anything?
अभी तक तो ऐसा गाइडलाइंस में है नहीं for 3rd dose of vaccination. But I would say no, we should wait for the government guidelines to be modified and then only go ahead with the third.
Amber sir, would you like to ask any question?
Yeah, I want to actually, sorry, I'm driving right now. But my question is that if somebody is suffering from severe allergic rhinitis and sinus issues, and chunki black fungus ke symptoms start with the sinus and everything somewhere in the same region, and now the rainy season is approaching, so the sinus and the allergic rhinitis takes a definite flare. So what precautions should that person take with the current scenario and the upcoming season?
So first of all, with all due respect sir, मैं आपको ये कहना चाहूँगा कि आप जो ड्राइव करते करते मोबाइल पे बात कर रहे हैं, आप ब्लैक फंगस से बड़ी रिस्क उठा रहे हैं।
No, I'm not driving. I'm on the car, so that's why the little sound.
Then that is absolutely fine. Then that is absolutely fine.
Doctor, for the so much concern.
Sorry, I got mute. So you told me that you are a patient. Somebody is a patient of rhinitis, sinusitis, and allergic seasonal variation has been there. So how to differentiate? So there is a classical difference that the person starts having a unilateral headache, or there is some swelling, or there is some skin discoloration, or the patient has some retro, मतलब आँख के पीछे pressure लगना, आँखों में दर्द होना, या डिस्चार्ज आना, ये सब पेक्यूलियर सिम्टम्स होते हैं ब्लैक फंगस के. और आप ट्रस्ट मी, एज लॉन्ग एज द पेशेंट इज नॉट सीवियरली इम्यूनोकॉम्प्रोमाइज, जिसको सीवियर किडनी की समस्या, शुगर की समस्या, या कोई दूसरी रेट्रो वायरल डिजीजेस लाइक HIV, HbSAg नहीं है, तो ब्लैक फंगस का इन्फेक्शन होना इज नॉट दैट इजी. ये ब्लैक फंगस कोई नई फंगस नहीं है. इट हैज बीन देयर सिंस ऑलवेज. पहले हम इसके साल में 5 केसेस देखते थे, अब हम दिन के 5 देख रहे हैं. इतना डिफरेंस हो गया है.
Okay.
One more thing I want to add, कि sometimes
Thank you, sir.
One more thing I want to add.
जी.
That black fungus के लिए, like if you do not have a symptom sometimes, but you feel sometimes क्या होता है ना कि जब हमारे आँख के पीछे फंगस ग्रो करता है या साइनसेस को रुक जाता है ना, तो I have seen few patients, basically those are having good vision, but the quality of vision is not good. Means you may feel something different, like normally you are seeing what you are seeing with the glasses or without glasses. आपका जो quality of vision है ना, वो उतना like color contrast, these things ना, because of the compression of the, हमारे आँख में एक पीछे ऑप्टिक नर्व होती है, जैसे कि नर्व के थ्रू होता है, तो वो ब्लैक फंगस कई बार उसके ऊपर इफेक्ट करता है. तो जो क्वालिटी ऑफ विजन जो है ना, वो नॉर्मल से आपको थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट लगेगी. सो बेसिकली आई वांट टू से कि एनीथिंग यू फील एबनॉर्मल, like previously it was not there and suddenly you are starting feeling some kind of heaviness, और vision में quality में compromise हो रहा है, nose blockage जाना हो रही है, anything abnormal, you can go directly to the ENT surgeon or you can come to the ophthalmologist for screening purpose. And if we are having doubt, definitely the screening is must, because early diagnosis basically is the key of management for black fungus. जितना early diagnosis होगा उतना जल्दी easily treatment हो जाएगा. So if you feel anything abnormal, check करवा लीजिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है उसमें.
Sorry,
Thank you, Dr. Sir.
Sorry, Manoj, I am just interrupting in between.
Sir,
We are
sir.
so honored to have with us architect Leena Kumar. She is our national secretary, Indian Institute of Architects. Welcome, Leena, ma'am, for
Welcome, ma'am,
to Invictus. Maybe if there is any question, she has connected from Bangalore. So
Okay.
she has been, I am seeing the last 60 minutes, she has been watching very carefully the conversation. Leena, ma'am, if there is any question, please, you can unmute.
Yes, I forgot I was on mute. Yes, thank you very much. It's been a very interesting session. I'd like to ask one question. You know, as doctors, you're always in the midst of this whole COVID. What are the extra precautions you take to avoid getting it, apart from your mask, social distancing, and I mean, you can't do social distancing, but your PPE mask and washing your hands? What else do you do?
For me, if you want to ask what extra precaution I am taking, basically,
Yes.
so when we are seeing the patient,
Yes.
we wear mask. Obviously, there should be a 2 or 3 layered mask, including one layer of N95, normal triplanar mask, then cap, gown. We used to wear gown.
Yes.
We used to wear gloves for touching the patient.
Yes.
Okay. So while seeing patient, this precaution I take because we are having more exposure.
Yes.
Being at home, if you want to ask me for like, for you people, those are being at home, the extra precaution you can take, like avoid any physical contact with the vendors. Okay, like someone is delivering something, you should keep it washed for half an hour to 1 hour outside, then only you use it. Other than that, obviously everything should be washed, nicely cleaned up, then only you can use it. Like if you are having the maid or servant to come to your house and you are living with the, you yourself is having the age, or like your parents or grandparents are there. So you can suggest them to wear a mask whenever she or he come. Okay, so there may be, because they are more prone to get infection. Okay, and obviously जो लोग काम करते हैं घरों में हमारे, they used to visit multiple houses. So
Yes.
maybe he can caught up with the infection somewhere. Like the same problem like we are also facing, everyone is facing. And there are a lot of workers are coming to the house, cooking, cleaning, everything. So you can avoid your basically aged people more than 60 years of age. तो उनकी कांटेक्ट में नहीं है और अगर आते हैं तो they should wear the mask while they come. Secondly, betadine gargle is a very good thing. Okay, whenever anybody comes from outside to home, you should have जो घर वाले लोग हैं betadine gargle करें. I think I have covered everything.
My gosh, that's a lot.
Great, sir. Sir, one more question has come. That after how many days a person can start exercising after getting positive?
I started doing exercise after 10 days of.
10 days. Okay.
Positive.
So heavy physical exercise?
Then there is no clear-cut guidance, but definitely the weakness level of after COVID is vary from person to person. So so when you start feeling well, then only you can start your exercise. There is no clear-cut guideline like sometimes you have to restrict yourself. It's not like that. It depends upon person to person. Lot of things are there, whether he vaccinated or not, what kind of COVID he got, how symptomatic he was, how weakness he is feeling. So it's vary from person to person, but there is no clear-cut guideline. Whenever you start feeling well, you can start the exercise. No issue.
Okay, great.
Shift from light workload to heavy workload. Starting light exercise.
Great. And one of my naughty friends is asking a question, and it is a hot question nowadays, that how many days after vaccination somebody can take alcohol?
After vaccination, see, basically the role of alcohol is to reducing immunity. So if you ask me, like if patients are having vaccination, till now there is no study concluded anything.
Okay.
Sometimes you can have allergy, a patient allergic to something like that. If you ask me about COVID infection, then obviously COVID infection में थोड़ा सा body की immunity कम होती है, तो alcohol avoid करना चाहिए.
Right.
So not say it's like clear cut कोई study हुई है इस पे, but obviously you have to avoid because alcohol लोगों में misconception है कि alcohol because of alcohol kills the virus. So नहीं, lot of misconceptions are there.
Yeah. Because sanitizer.
Alcohol से immunity कम हो जाती है, तो उस समय पे थोड़ा सा avoid करें.
Right.
After recovered, then okay.
Once your antibodies are found well, then फिर भी चलेगा at least for 2 weeks. You should avoid.
And even after vaccination also, you should wait for at least.
Once the antibodies are found well, then
Right.
opt for it. But again, जैसा सर ने बोला है कि severely immunity कम होती है, dehydration होता है alcohol से, so should be avoided for at least 2 weeks.
Okay, great. So I'm done with my questions. Architect Vinay, do you have anything else?
Yes. So with the conclusion on the talk that we just had, we'll go with the rapid fire. These are questions from here and there, and these are popular questions from WhatsApp University. And we are taking this up to be clear on certain issues, which some people are very clear and some are not. So doctors, Dr. Animesh and Dr. Tanay, I will go by your answers in yes or no. Right. So lemon drops in nose, will that help?
No.
No.
Will holding my breath
reveal
that I have a virus?
It won't reveal that you have a virus, but it's going to reveal that you have good lung compliance, chest compliance.
So should I take vitamin D even if I'm not COVID patient as a supplement, as a regular dose?
Yes, not as a regular dose, but you have to check your vitamin D levels on an on and off basis and in your annual health checkup, and then supplement yourself with vitamin D and vitamin B12.
So should I take superfoods and probiotics regularly?
Not really. Go with your normal diet.
This vaccine or that vaccine or whatever vaccine is having a lot of side effects.
No.
Vaccine is spreading the virus.
No, not at all.
Plasma therapy is not useful.
It is subjective to person, and again, I would say as long as ICMR has removed it from its guidelines, then let us not say any controversial statement about plasma.
Many hospitals have opened up around, and should we must see only a doctor or any hospital will do?
I didn't get your question. What?
Lot many hospitals have opened up. They not necessarily are having doctors. There are other healthcare professionals. So should we consult a doctor only?
Yes, definitely.
Dr. Animesh.
Yes, sir. Good day.
Can reuse of mask, old mask, cause black fungus?
It can become prone, basically. Not cause, not a cause, but it will increase the chances of getting black fungus. Till now, what we have find.
And what if this virus learns to float in air longer or even survive and spread through water? What will happen?
No, I'm not getting you, sorry.
Sir, if this virus learns to survive in water or it starts spreading in air, it floats in air for a longer time. What?
I'm not aware of it. I don't
God
know.
help us.
I don't think so.
May God help us.
Okay. Okay.
Hello, sir. Can I ask?
Yes, Ravikant.
Yes, Ravikant.
Sir, actually, I was COVID positive and recovered last month, but I am facing two problems. One is sleeping disorder, and second is my hunger is at very high.
Your hunger?
Yes. मतलब खाना खाया और आफ्टर 10 मिनट्स मुझे लगता है कि कुछ और खाना चाहिए.
ये तो अच्छी बात है.
ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ मेरे साथ.
So what I would say is it probably could be a side effect of the steroids that you were on, and also because post catabolic state, you just came out of a catabolic state where your body was into deprivation of all sort of viable nutrients. Now you are into post catabolic state, and that is probably a reason. These only two possibilities can be there. And yes, what we have been experiencing is that post COVID exposure also people are having all sorts of insomnia and difficulty to sleep. So again, there is where a role of neuropsychiatrist comes in, and you are still into that sort of trauma or stress that you must have experienced while you were positive.
So even I want to ask you, Dr. Tanay, also that maybe I think it's maybe because of the during COVID we have a loss of smell and taste also. So when you recovered from the COVID, there may be a psychological state that we want to eat more. Like we want to develop. I think it may be psychological also.
Possibly.
And for sleep, I think because of the stress and all what we had gone through, because of that, I think the sleep problem is there with more. Or is it? Scientifically, is it anything or no? Even I'm thinking down because
what I personally feel is steroids. They have a very high role in this thing where the air hunger is increased. And what you are telling me is absolutely right, because for the time being where there is anosmia, where there is loss of smell, loss of taste, and once the patient regains it, that then they tend to feel a lot of hunger and lot of urge to eat more.
But sir, मुझे ऐसा कोई steroids नहीं था क्योंकि I was on Ayurvedic and Unani medicines.
Sir, you won't believe more than 99% of Ayurvedic and Unani medicines have steroids in them. Am I right, Animesh sir?
Yes. Even homeopathy, I should say.
Yes.
Manoj,
thank you.
Manoj and Vinay, I think we are running late with the session, and we can now proceed. And whatever the next questions are there, we can basically coordinate and we can send it on email.
Yes, all participants and attendees will take up your questions personally and we'll ask the respected doctors to answer them and we'll forward the answers to them.
Yeah, that would be great.
So starting with this next part of the session with question and answer is over. We have among us architect Nakul Bhagat, professor at MANIT Bhopal. He was a COVID patient. He has recovered and he plays the mouth organ very well.
Hello, everybody. This is Nakul.
Sir, I'd request you to just play a small tune for us and share your experience.
Am I audible?
Yes,
sir, you
are. First of all, I must say that this has been a great session. Dr. Kothari, Dr. Tanay, Dr. Animesh, you have really put in a lot of confidence in me personally, because I have just recovered from COVID. Today is my 27th day. And I must congratulate IIA also for such a lovely effort. I would not go into the intricacies of things because that has already been covered. My experience was that we, in the complete family, we got infected one day after the other day. So in 4 days, we all got infected. And the best part was that the first symptom that we got, we were straight away saying कि ये COVID है. And we straight away went under medical help. We had reasons for other possibilities also, but we did not go for that. So we immediately went under medical help. We started our medicines on time. We started our tests on time. And the major part was we came under medical supervision rather than going on either WhatsApp University or hearsay or any other thing. And that, I would say, really helped. All of us should really thank our medical fraternity who are presently working like our army or our armed forces, and they are really helping us out nicely, and they are really working under hardship and against all odds. So kudos to all the doctors and their fraternity, the paramedic staff and everybody. I have been to hospital for my tests and I can really understand. I don't believe anything that comes in the news. What I believe is that I have seen them working really nice and they are really giving us all the. So I have one small presentation for all of you on harmonica. This has been a very good thing for me because during COVID, when after 5-6 days, I started playing songs just to check if I could breathe properly. And during these 10 days, I recorded 3 or 4 songs also. So I got confidence. आज मैं चूंकि मैं टीचिंग प्रोफेशन में हूँ, मैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को बहुत मिस करता हूँ. मैं अपने जिनके साथ मैं काम करता हूँ, मैं उनके साथ बहुत मिस करता हूँ. तो मैंने इस चीज के लिए एक गाना चूज किया था. फिल्म मधुमती का गाना है. दिल तड़प तड़प की कह रहा है आबिजा, तू हमसे आंख ना चुरा, तुझे कसम है आबिजा. हम वेट कर रहे हैं जो हमारे रेगुलर मिलने वाले हैं, हमारे दोस्त, हमारे परिवार वाले, हमारे साथ काम करने वाले, हमारे क्लाइंट्स, so that we can sit across the table with them, we can really work, we can really shake hands, and I'm sure this time will come for all of us. So a small presentation for all of you on that note.
Battery 80%.
Auxiliary.
कहते हैं कि दिल नहीं तो क्या बात है। Thank you all, and all of you please keep safe and stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Nakul sir. Thank you so much for that encouraging music that you have played. Going further, I'd request our immediate past chairman, Architect Amok Kumar Gupta ji, to say a word of appreciation and present some digital mementos to the experts. Architect Amok ji, please.
हेलो।
Yes, sir, you are audible.
क्या मेरे को वोट ऑफ थैंक्स देना है?
को एक अपनी ओपिनियन देनी है, हमको एनकरेज करना है, एंड एक डिजिटल मोमेंटोस आपको हमारे एक्सपर्ट्स को प्रेजेंट करना है, व्हिच आर शेयरिंग ऑन दिस।
जोशी, डॉक्टर कुलकर्णी, इन लोगों के सामने तो हमारी कोई ओपिनियन ही नहीं है, इन तो विषय के दक्ष लोग हैं। इन्होंने ऐसे समय में विपरीत परिस्थितियों में अपना, जबकि इनके इतने इंपॉर्टेंट असाइनमेंट्स चल रहे हैं, हमने देखा डॉक्टर कुलकर्णी स्टॉप फ्रॉम द ऑपरेशन थिएटर, इसके बावजूद अगर उन्होंने हम लोगों के बीच आने में सहमति दी और आप ये नंबर ऑफ पार्टिसिपेंट्स के क्वेश्चन आंसर्स को पेशेंसली सुना, उनके शंकाओं को दूर किया, तो निसंदेह हम आप सभी लोगों के बिहाफ पे उनका हृदय से आभारी हैं, उनको धन्यवाद देते हैं कि और उम्मीद करते हैं, जैसा जितेंद्र ने बताया, कि भविष्य में ये श्रृंखला कार्यक्रम के आगे चलती रहेगी। और उन्होंने अपने उद्बोधन में बताया कि तीसरी लहर अवश्यम भावी है, उसका स्वरूप कैसा होगा, कब आएगा, इसके बारे में अभी विचार मंथन जारी है, कोई स्पष्ट परिदृश्य सामने नहीं आया है, लेकिन जैसे इसके लक्षण आएंगे तो संभवतः हम लोग पुनः उनको एक बार आमंत्रित करके लहर 3 के पहले, उसके सिम्टम के पहले कुछ अगर जिज्ञासा शंकाएं होंगी तो ऐसा सुनना पसंद करेंगे, और मुझे विश्वास है कि वह इसके लिए समय देंगे। और इस सफल कार्यक्रम आयोजन करने के लिए विशेष तौर पर IMP चैप्टर की जो यंग टीम ने एफर्ट्स किया है, उन सबको मैं उनको भी बधाई देता हूँ, धन्यवाद देता हूँ। और जितेंद्र जी इसको लीड ले रहे हैं और सबको मार्गदर्शन मिले। और अंत में मैं सभी अपने आर्किटेक्ट बंधुओं से यह निवेदन करूंगा कि सहायता सबको करनी है, यह समय सहायता का है और सहायता का स्वरूप बदल सकता है। जो स्वयं एजेड हैं या जिनके घर में कोई ऐसी है, तो जरूरी नहीं कि वो बाहर जाके सहायता करें। सहायता के स्वरूप कई प्रकार से हो सकते हैं, वो उस प्रकार से अपने अपने स्तर पर चाहे आर्थिक सहायता दें, चाहे लोगों के मनोबल बढ़ाएं, चाहे खुद जाकर के फूड वितरण करें, या जिनके जैसे संपर्क हैं, जैसे कल की बैठक में भी जितेंद्र बता रहे थे, उन्होंने संपर्कों के माध्यम से जरूरतमंद लोगों को ऑक्सीजन या इंजेक्शन भी उपलब्ध कराए, तो उसमें भी अपना योगदान दे सकते हैं। इसी के साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूँ। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Architect Amukji. Just a small token of appreciation for our esteemed panel, Dr. Animesh Sahuji, a testimonial of appreciation. Dr. Tanay Joshi ji. Dr. Chanel Kothari ji. And a special thanks to Architect Nakul Dagat ji from Manet Bhopal. I will now request Vice Chairman Architect Vibha Srivastava to propose a vote of thanks.
Good afternoon.
I would like to thank you all also, because we are having so many sessions with the doctors and all. See, basically now it's become an alternate day process for us. But it's nice that we can talk, if we are able to share our experience and knowledge with the normal people. Like normal means non-medical people. It's a nice meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. I am here to present the vote of thanks for today's Samvad. I would like to thank our guest doctor, Dr. Chanel Kothari, Dr. Tanay Joshi, Dr. Animesh Sahu for taking out time from their busy schedule and putting up an informative session for our attendees. Today's interaction was full of knowledge and awareness. It gave a deep insight into the topic and revealed some uncommon facts. We really enjoyed the show put up by Nakul. Always a pleasure to see him perform. Thanks a lot, Nakul. I would also like to thank all the seniors, juniors, students, and the management team for organizing the session. Lastly, I thank the attendees for participating. Thank you all and have a good day. Thank you.
So on behalf of IIA chapter and its team, I sign off here today. Wish you a very happy and healthy life. Please stay safe until we connect again. Thank you all for joining. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Animesh. Thank you, Dr. Tanay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, doctors.
Thank you all the doctors. Thank you.
Thank you, MP chapter, for organizing a wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Abhishek.